In recent days, Brazil has seen thousands of protesters take to the streets with complaints over the country's high tax burden, poor public infrastructure, and above all, the billions of dollars being spent in preparation for next year's World Cup football tournament. The growing gap between Brazil's rich and poor sees harsh living conditions for the country's poorest citizens. A third of Rio de Janeiro's population lives in favelas. Shacks scattered throughout the slopes, piling one after another, forming a maze of cramped passageways twisting and turning down a steep hillside. Some houses are covered in a web of cables extended to electricity poles due to poor utility access. The favelas overlook downtown Rio with an excellent view of a gleaming stadium, as well as the city harbor's growing middle class.
The World Cup should bring for the Brazilians and people that lives around the stadiums, let's say it this way, is to bring something for the future. I mean, bring better health plans, bring better education, training, and that should be the real legacy, not just build some nice stadium that people can't even afford to go.
Beach protesters have highlighted the government's extravagant spending on the recent Confederations Cup and the upcoming World Cup, as they seem to neglect current social problems like Brazil's high crime rate. Hundreds of footballs were laid out on the beach to represent the country's 500,000 murders over the last decade. The beach protests take place along with a series of demonstrations across the country that have pushed the government to promise a crackdown on corruption and increase spending on social services.